I know that's very hard. Like literally every time I scroll through Netflix, I'm like, oh, can't watch this.
Yeah.
Can't watch this. Can't watch this. Like everything has like some sort of, I don't know, even if it's not a sexual type of spirit, it could be like violence or like murder or just something in it. It's just like the spirit in this is just not, I just cannot bring this into my home. Like literally it feels like I'm
Right.
inviting the spirit into my home.
And you know what was really strange about that one movie you was talking about? Like the woman, it was like the man was trying to entice the woman,
Yes.
and you can see the woman was falling for it. And see, the enemy makes you start thinking like, and you look at movies like that, he make you start thinking like, oh, this is right. Oh, this is right. You can do that. See, it's
You
happening
just
all
start a
over.
little.
Everyone's doing it. You know, he put it in the movies and stuff. This is Billing Blocks with the Selves,
That's us.
Mrs. and Mr. Self.
What's up, y'all?
And we back with another one,
Let's see.
another one, another one, another one,
Is this
another
a
one,
soundtrack?
another one.
All right.
We got us another one, y'all. It's a hit. I mean, everything that God tell us and He download on our mind to release to the world is a hit, and we hoping it hit you in your mind and you get something out of this. That's what we're here for. And today we have a special episode, week 2 of Season of Love. And what is that?
Preserving yourself.
Preserving yourself. One thing about preserving yourself that we want to talk about. One example is the environment that you be in when you save. There are certain things and certain characteristics of environments that you should not be associating yourself with. We can talk about the nightlives. We can talk about the block parties. We can talk about being in a violent or criminal activity environment. All those things are no-nos when you're saved. All those things you should not be contributing to. You shouldn't be no part of it. And when we're saved, we have to watch the way we carry ourselves, because outsiders, people of the world that's not saved and not of that is of this world, they judge us knowingly or unknowingly. You might don't think no one judging you, but you're constantly getting
They're
judged
watching.
you're constantly getting judged and watched when you give your life to God. So we have to be examples. There are things that we shouldn't talk about. There's things that we shouldn't wear. So we have to be aware of these things. Baby, give me an example of a thing that we shouldn't wear being a Christian female.
I would say for sure see through, right? Like, let leave that for your husband.
Leave that for your husband for a see-through.
Yes, period. Like, I feel like, I mean, maybe that's too easy, but yeah, like, why would we be wearing sheer things when nobody needs to see that except for our mate?
So she's saying that if you're a woman, you shouldn't be revealing too much of your body because you will be judged on your character by revealing a lot of your body. So if you're a female and you're revealing your curves, everything that God has giving you to allow your husband, your future husband, if
To
you're not
enjoy.
married, to enjoy it and to see. You shouldn't be releasing it and letting the world see it, because you won't get the valued man that you're trying to reach if you're showing him everything before y'all are permanently together. If you're just showing him before he don't even fully know the deepness of your heart, but you showing him everything you have to offer, he's not gonna value you a lot. It's different if you reserve yourself and you let him build on your character, on your personality, he will value a lot more. And God say that's how a woman should be: meek. She should care about her appearance, and she should not want to be like the world.
Yeah. And I mean, there's just so many options out nowadays. Like, we don't got to be out here half naked because
Yeah.
there are just so many things to choose from.
And I feel
So,
like even with men also have to watch what they wear, because being a man, you don't want to be showing certain things off too. So especially, you're trying to find a woman that don't think that you of the world. You shouldn't be wearing things that that sexualize yourself. Like just make it
Having
seem
having your button down too low.
having your button down too low, wearing short shorts, stuff like, stuff that sexualize yourself, that make it seem like you're trying to attract a mate with your body, and you shouldn't wear those type of things. You should try to keep yourself reserved. Just keep yourself reserved and respect your own self, respect your own body. Okay, tell me the type of environments.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit more about like actually preserving environments because you mentioned stuff like going to nightclubs and being in violent environments or maybe being around people that are like doing drugs and stuff like that. I feel like that's a little too easy. Okay, let's say you've already been past that lifestyle that you're not into that, right? Like ourselves, we wouldn't be found there because that's just not attractive to us anymore anyway, because we in deep with the Lord, so it's just like that's not something that's tempting to us. But for example, things like video games, and we did a whole episode on this, but that's something that can really affect the environment of your home, for example. So if you have children, and even if you don't have children, right, having playing certain type of video games does affect the environment. Like, we don't have to go through all of this as we did previously. You can go back to the episode, but there are certain games with certain content that were inspired by demons. And even with that, music and type of movies, oh my gosh, like even yesterday we started to watch a Tyler Perry movie. It's new on Netflix, and I'm gonna say the name. It's called like Mia something with a C. And the reason why I'm saying it is because you may see it come up in your Netflix feed, and let's have a conversation about this, because I feel like every believer should have a conviction. Okay, so we began to watch it, and my husband instantly said, like, if this has anything with adultery or like sexualization, like, we turning this, we ain't watching. So I said, okay, let's give it a chance. I was like, that's too easy. Like, why would he put that in a movie? Like, that's just an easy guess, right? Come on, he got to be a little bit more complex in his writing by now. That's like the same storyline he's used to writing all the time. So I was like, let's give it a chance. Y'all, they didn't even get to the point where it was we got to see that yet, but I could instantly, like, there was a certain part with one of the male characters, like, I could instantly tell, like, the spirit behind what was being produced was already of sexual immorality, fornication, and lust. And so we didn't even have to get to the part where it was adultery. I'm sure that's where it was getting, it was insinuating stuff like that. But it was just like, we already can see the sexual perversion in here. We can already see the sexual immorality. Like, I could literally feel the spirit of it. Like, that was the intent behind it. Like, that's what that man was going through. And maybe, I'm not even, no, you know what? I'm going to say it's because of the Holy Spirit. Like, I'm not even going to say because of the spiritual gifts that God has given me. But every believer should be discerning enough to know, like, the spirit behind this, something is off. Like, this is not coinciding with the Holy Spirit. And I know that's very hard. Like, literally, every time I scroll through Netflix, I'm like, oh, can't watch this. Can't watch this. Like, everything has, like, some sort of, I don't know, even if it's not a sexual type of spirit, it could be, like, violence or like murder or just something in it. It's just like the spirit in this is just not, I just cannot bring this into my home. Like, literally, it feels like I'm inviting the spirit into my home.
And you know what was really strange about that one movie you was talking about? Like, the woman, it was like the man was trying to entice the woman.
Yes.
And you can see the woman was falling for it. And see, the enemy makes you start thinking like, and you look at movies like that, he make you start thinking like, oh, this is right. Oh, this is right. You can do that. See, it's happening all over. Everyone's doing this. He put it in the movies and stuff. And you're talking about the video games. It's not just, it is video games, but also we have to be careful about social medias too, because on social medias, you see little things on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok things that you know is not morally right being a Christian. And sometimes it'll catch your eye because the flesh side of us be like, oh, let me look a little longer. Let me look a
Yeah.
little longer. Let me look a
Wow.
little longer. Then if you constantly doing it every day, just looking a little longer, next thing you know, you're putting in your spirit. And it's slowly breaking down that holiness. And next thing you know, you're looking at
Wow.
secular videos. And then you go from secular videos to looking at things you know that you aren't supposed to be
And
looking
you
at as a
begin to
Christian.
think it's okay and you start compromising in sin. The moment we begin to do these things, it begins to open the door. The door is getting a little bit open. First, it's like it's knocking on the door, and it's like we listening, like, should I let you in? Hey, who is it? And the behind it is like, oh, this is lust. Oh, this is drug addiction. Like it's like the
Yeah.
spirit behind it's knocking, and you're like, no, I don't want to open this. I don't want to open this. And then when you keep consuming it, you become desensitized to it, and literally you're like, oh, let me just crack this door open. Let me see what this is about. And then you keep listening. It could be music, or you keep looking at the video, like he said, like the TikTok, the Facebook, whatever, the
Instagram,
YouTube
too.
short, Instagram,
Yeah.
all that. Like you keep looking, and then the door begins opened. And then at some point, because you're doing it, you allow people around you to do it. And you don't feel no type of way. Your discernment gets lower. And you're starting to be like, it becomes common. The
Yeah.
sin becomes common because the spirit has now an open door to you. Wow,
Yeah.
this is so good. And then you begin to play some of these things out, like whatever it could be. It could be anything, right? It could be lying. Let's say, I don't know, you're watching something with lying a lot, right? And you begin to play these things out. You begin to do small little lies, and then they keep building, and then one day you look around, you're like, wait a minute, am I a liar? Then you're like, and then you're trying to figure out where did the root of this come from. But it's because all these little things you began to allow to open. And sometimes it may not even be, I have found, and I've had to check myself with this, like even with Instagram, I'm like, oh, I want to follow this friend because I've known them since, I don't know, middle school, elementary school. I just want to keep up with their life. But then after a while, I'm looking at their content and I'm like, this is just not something that I want to be consuming. And I have to be like, okay, sis, I wanted to keep up with you, but I can't do this. Like, I don't need to feed my mind this, okay? My eyes are a gate. Like, they don't need to see this. My ears don't need to hear this. And so, got to get the unfollow. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. And like whatever environment that you surround yourself around, either it's, cyber, even in real, real life, cyber, whatever environment you surround yourself around, that's who you become. So you definitely want to watch. I don't care if the person, your cousin, your brother, your uncle, your auntie, we don't care if it's your best friend you knew since you was in kindergarten playing with TT and them. We gonna tell you if their environment is messed up and they teaching you things that's ungodly and unhealthy to your
Right.
spiritual life, you gotta move around. We don't care if y'all got blood ties. We don't care if you have best friend ties to go way back. We don't care about none of that because God doesn't care about none of that if they teaching you sin. He don't care if they your best friend. He don't care if they your uncle, auntie, nan, all that. Is if they teaching you how to go
The
against
sin is
God,
okay. Yeah.
that's not okay. You don't want to get led astray because of nan them or TT them. You don't
You're
want to get
just
led.
having fun with these
You don't
niggas.
want to. You don't want to get led astray.
Amen.
And
That's right.
think about your salvation, right? Think about your salvation. Is it worth TT them telling you, "Hey, girl, I'm gonna put these hot shorts on. You need to get you some and wear them around. We need to go hit up the, we need to go downtown and see what's out there. We need to go see what's out there. You know them, June them gonna be out
But
there."
listen to this. It might not even be that. It may not even be them trying to convince you to do something. It can just be them consistently talking about their lifestyle.
Yeah.
This happened to me in college, okay? This came to my mind today when we was at church. But like, I had a certain friend that would consistently tell me about like this sinful lifestyle she was living in. And she wasn't really a friend, but I was always around her because we were both having in the same modeling troupe and so whatever. We were just around each other multiple times in a week. So she would just consistently be telling me about these things that she was doing, and it was the opposite of the lifestyle I was living. But I didn't realize, like I said, it was like knocking at the door. knocking at the door, and then I'm starting to open it, and I'm becoming a little bit desensitized and starting to think little things are okay, whatever. And so it wasn't even her saying, girl, you need to go out there and you need to do this. No. It was just her saying, oh, girl, guess what happened last night? I was with this person, and stuff like that. Like, you got to be careful of the conversation too, because again, that's a gate.
Yeah, and what the enemy will try to do, he'll know that you trying to stay pure, so he'll send somebody in your life to talk about things that go against God. Like, you might have somebody come into your life, if you're a guy trying to be, hold yourself off until you get married. He might send a friend come at you and be like, hey, last night, blah, da, 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 and we was at this place, at this party, at this block party, and da, 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 they had these women here, da, 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 and they just try to put it in your mind to make you feel like you less than what they are because they having all the fun and you're not. But that's not it. And even like, when you first get saved, you have to watch. Like, I just know being a man, you might have people come at you talking about oh, I got high last night. I did this last night while I was high. We went we went here and we went there. They'll start talking about like how, like violent type things. Oh, ain't nobody gonna mess with me. Ain't nobody gonna. Oh yeah, I was at the party and nobody ain't say nothing to me because they know what I'm about. Blah 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 blah. They know what I'm about. What you about? They go talking about pulling up guns and ain't nobody gonna play with them on their mama, all this type of stuff. And they'll try to get you riled up about it too. And you gotta watch people like that. Try to get you to interact on their sin with them. They riled up about something and they put you in it. Yeah, they were talking about you too, Sarah. Yeah, they're talking about you too. They try to get you in on it too. Like, what? They try to pull you in. They'll even say your name and put you in the conversation. Yeah. And those are the people you want to run and get furthest way as possible, because they will include you in the scene. Like, they'll use an example by putting you in the middle of it. Yeah, because I bet if you was there, that girl would have came on to you too. Yeah. Like, they'll say stuff like that.
And can I say something that is coming to my mind? Just even with the door, how I was talking about the knock and then the opening. Yeah. There are some things that are not even going to come as a knock because it has to do with your past. Yeah. So, for instance, if you struggle with alcohol a lot, right? Let's say that was your thing in college, whatever, before you got saved, like that was your clutch. You need to avoid everything. Music, entertainment through your eyes, conversations with other people, going to certain parties, even if it's a family party, but they got family members that drink or you used to drink with. Like, you have to avoid anything surrounding alcohol. Like, that's not a knock for you. That can be an immediate open door for you. Yes. Right? So you can't even just allow a little bit of it. There are certain things that have to be complete restriction. Whereas there could be something, let's say the temptation to get over on somebody, right? A small lie, and there's no such thing as a small lie, right? Let's say that there's a temptation to do that. So you start watching stuff with it. You start listening to music with it. And maybe that might be the knock at the door. Because that's not something you really used to, find a hard time with before. That wasn't a sin that used to get you. And maybe it's not in your bloodline. So it's not as easy to be an open door for you. So it takes a little time of desensitizing. The enemy starts to massage it in to you. Yes. But you definitely absolutely want to avoid those that are immediate triggers of things that you have dealt with or you've seen in your family. Because maybe it may not be something you dealt with directly. But if you've seen patterns of it, because let's say, I don't see no alcoholism. That's never been my thing. I didn't really care about drinking like that, right? But if I ever saw that in my family, I would know, okay, I immediately need to avoid this thing. Thank God it's not a thing. But I would know I have to avoid this because I would know that this is something that's already been opened up in my family's bloodline. Mm-hmm. So it's easier for those demons, the right that they have. Listen, the spiritual realm is literally a whole legal system.
Mm-hmm. And like how you talking about alcohol and everything, certain drugs. Like nowadays, Christians And we know have certain Christians that tend to, they might drink their little cup of wine or whatever it may be. But if you know that that type of environment may turn you back into a drunk, you need to stay away. Like she said, you need to stay away from alcohol. And I've been hearing about these Christians on blogs and stuff. They starting to try to say that you or Christians can smoke weed. They starting to say that's okay. They say
What?
the Bible say long as you're sober, I don't be high, it just be a little bit to give me a buzz. Yeah, I heard that. Oh, that's not high. I ain't
Whoa.
high. I just got a little
What
bit.
demon is that? What's the name of that demon? The demon of compromise? Because guess what? We talked about fearing the Lord in our last video, and maybe you didn't listen to it. You got to go back and listen to Persistent Love. But fearing God means you hate sin. Fearing God means you hate what God hates. And
Yeah.
that's holiness. Holiness is being uncommon with the world. Anything that is in common with the world is against God.
Yes, that's correct.
I wish I could zoom in on me.
That
Anything
is correct.
that is common with the world is not of God. He immediately
Yes.
hates it.
And they try to use that. Oh, the Bible doesn't speak on weed. The Bible doesn't speak on this drug. Bible might don't speak on modern drugs, but it does say sober minded. Sober minded. How you sober minded if you walking over, about to fall over when you walking? You can't even walk a straight line. You're not sober, and when you're not sober, the devil loves it because you're easy to be attacked.
Okay, so what about those people that say it helps them to access the spiritual realm and they feel closer to God? What if that's their excuse?
If you're saying that when I smoke this or that, it makes me feel closer to God, you're being deceived.
Absolutely.
Because the closeness you feel, it is the spiritual realm.
Mm-hmm.
But the spiritual realm that you're accessing is illegal.
Yes.
And the real spiritual realm is accessing it in prayer, often church, often meditating and reading the word. Is not smoking a blunt or a joint to access the spiritual realm. That's not real. That's not accessing the spiritual realm in a real way. And when you access the spiritual realm in that way, you will be tormented by demons because you're accessing it with no. It's like you walking into a room full of dangerous criminals and you don't have no safety around you. That's what accessing the spiritual realm like. Whenever you're accessing it with drugs, you walking into a realm with nobody nobody covering you, no safety, so the demons can just jump in you, do what they want, have fun with you, rape you, anything they want to do. Have torment dreams. Thinks they can even appear in your wherever you at, the location you at. You just see them run across the room, run across. Because I used to smoke, I used to see things, and I would see it out the corner of my eyes. It'll look like it's out the corner of my eyes. I'll be like, something just moved back there. Then I look, I don't see nothing, but I know out the corner of my eyes I saw something. So it'll be like you would see things, but you won't believe what you saw. You won't believe what you saw. It'll be so supernatural. It will be so supernatural. You won't believe what you saw. You'll think, oh, I'm just high. That's all that is. I ain't see no demon or I ain't see no creature. I'm just high. That's all. But you saw it. It's real. You just saw a troll. You just saw a demon.
Yeah.
You just saw a creature. It's reality.
Yeah. Not every being is holy. Okay.
So
not every being is of the Lord.
You're right. And I'm just saying, I'm bringing up the drug thing because a lot of people prophesize whenever they high and stuff. And they be saying they so supernaturally connected and spiritual. But the things that they're getting isn't coming from the Holy Spirit. It's coming from a divination spirit, a sorcery spirit. So they can tell some truth, but they can't tell full truths. Because they don't know full truths. They're not God.
And they can't stop anything in the future. So, for instance, if they say, and God forbid, so-and-so is going to get in a car accident tomorrow and they're not going to survive. But if a prophet say, the Lord just showed me so and so, it's supposed to get, notice I said supposed to get in a car accident and not survive. The prophet has the power given to them by Jesus.
Yes.
Through the Holy Spirit leading them to pray and stop the accident from happening completely. Whereas a demonic spirit of divination or sorcery or fortune telling can talk about it, but they have no power to stop it.
Yes. But guys, we're going to wrap this up. We hope you enjoyed the discussion for today. And come back next week because we got some more juicy topics to talk about. Well, we talk Bible and we talk it well. You know who it is. It's Billy Blocks with the Sales. If you ain't got with it and hit subscribe yet, you're tripping. And you need to hit it now.
I thought you used to say you're stealing.
And you're stealing. And you're tripping and you ain't right. And if you're stealing, we ain't dealing. And that's what you're doing.